into a spank fest, which is really bad.
I left a little early. I left at 11. It's gonna take Orzhov to take the Golgari from you. There's nothing that 100 Boros or Azorius could ever do. We bless the guilds down in Ravnica. Gonna take the gruel to smash the things the Izzet had.
Nice and still laughing.
I don't know how they hold it that long.
You were doing like the Christina Aguilera with your hand too. You're like,
well, she's one of my idols
Yeah,
for singing.
right.
So I mean,
that was good. Good
sorry,
job, Larry.
sorry about that one.
Yeah.
That ad part at the end.
That is actually a request from
Mr. Swope on Twitter.
Yeah.
Really appreciate all the activity that you've even done with us in the past.
Yeah.
On Twitter, so it's probably the only reason why I check it.
Yeah, and we had to see the comments there. But the original is the Toto Africa, by the way.
Oh, you were doing the Toto version?
Oh,
I was doing.
Oh, that's why we got.
I was doing the Weezer version.
Oh, that's why.
Sorry about that.
I heard it was a little more rocky there.
Probably should have talked about that beforehand.
Welcome to CommanderSmiths.
We are the CommanderSmiths.
I am Adam Smith.
And I am Lowry Smith.
Episode 31. It feels like It's been a long time.
Well, it has been. It's like over 6 months at this point.
We totally forgot. We're cousins. Yep.
I didn't forget.
Well, I was going to just leave it.
I mean, yeah.
Stuff
That's
and
okay.
things.
Yeah, we're cousins.
Cousins. But yeah, for us recording-wise, how long has it been? Like 2 weeks? Because we were...
It feels like it, yeah. So,
no, it's been like a week and a half.
like 11 days.
It's been
if
crazy,
I was going to break
man.
it down.
Yeah, and sorry this episode is a little late. Yesterday, I would not have been able to talk at all. It was pretty brutal.
You lost your voice.
Yeah, it was. And I did a lot of singing at my brother's wedding, and
congratulations, Joe.
Yep.
And I would have actually been perfectly fine doing the podcast here, and you not talking would have made it probably better.
Just the same. Just had me as a whisper, but yeah, it would have been a lot of coughing. If I could have.
That's such a good idea, Lowry.
Well, I was interested to see how I would sound like with. I still have it a little bit. It's a little better today, but if I wasn't coughing, I think I would have pushed through, because that would have just been annoying for everybody just every couple seconds. Or me editing, it would have been like every 10 seconds cutting a cough out.
Well, and my wife, like the morning after the wedding, my wife was like, "Ooh, your voice is really deep this morning."
She's like, "Ooh, get it deep all the time." Oh, that's what she said.
That's gross. Not really gross. Whatever.
That's what she did say, actually. Oh, yeah, what? We're 3 minutes in. Dang it, we're supposed to get to the 10-minute mark before we get dirty.
Grandpa's going to be so disappointed.
Oh, man. But yeah, it was a good wedding.
So you were telling me that you did throw your pants on the floor.
Yep.
Pants on the ground. You got more people to do it. So
at your wedding, I got to play.
It was just my brother Grant, right?
Yep, to play piano.
And then everybody
you didn't
else
join in with us on that, did you?
No.
Yeah, so I requested for the last song, Piano Man. There's a bar that we would go to when I was in college in St. Cloud, Minnesota. And actually it's St. Joseph, but St. Cloud's the main, whatever. Anyways, at the end of the night, they would play that song, and all the guys would drop their pants, and then, it's a long-ass song, so you're just dancing with your pants on the ground. Pants on the ground, pants on the ground.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, when you tried that at my wedding, I'm glad that just only one other person joined
I'd say
in.
there
I
was
like,
about
you guys...
10 of us, and then Joe and Katie were in the middle of the circle with Joe's pants on the ground. And then it turned into a spank fest, which sounds really bad.
I left a little early. I left at 11. So,
yeah. A spanking of Joe's butt fest. Sorry, that sounded really... Yeah, we all just started masturbating on the dance floor.
No, I doubt it. That's an extra cleanup bill, I'm sure, and you probably wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, but so then when everybody with their pants on the ground started hitting them in the butt, so it was good times. But yeah, needless to say, we had the bachelor party last Thursday.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Up until 4 that night.
I also left early on that one.
And then the wedding, we were up until 5. I was like, I am too old to be staying up this late. So I think it was a mixture of, I wasn't really that hungover. I mean, whatever. It was more of the voice.
You were singing.
Yeah.
Your beautiful voice.
I wasn't going to be able to talk. So, and I still can't really talk, but whatever. Anyways, you guys, we almost forgot our stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You can follow us on Twitter. If you followed us on Twitter before, you would have known that we were actually going to be a day late with this episode. So
and then you also would have gotten that fantastic gift. That
there was a pretty.
It's pretty funny.
I like my gifts.
And then,
but yeah, you can follow us at CommanderSmiths. I didn't even actually say it. At CommanderSmiths.
Get on Twitter.
Yeah,
figure it out. And then you can email us at CommanderSmiths@gmail.com. I forgot.
And then you can YouTube us, which do all your YouTube and things. Same thing, CommanderSmiths. We got quite.
If you watch other YouTubes, they tell you what to do. We don't tell you what to do.
We just tell you
to do whatever you want.
You
to
know
do.
how to YouTube, so do it and subscribe and like and do all that fun stuff. So yeah, this is episode 31. It's really all we're going to be talking about is spoilers for the most part here.
As the song was saying, we're going to be heavy on Guilds of Ravnica spoilers because it's been kind of a long time since we have recorded.
We started with the first spoilers, and actually, if I would have got the podcast out the day I said I was going to, we would have been before all the spoilers again got leaked. But then it came out on Monday and everything was being leaked. I think, wasn't it Saturday? Everything started happening.
Well, it was Monday morning or whatever.
Yeah. So there's a lot. We're going to talk about those cards because I'm sure a lot of you have already seen those cards. If you hadn't, you're going to get a little bonus feature here.
Yeah.
And then we're going to talk about all the stuff that's already been released this week. So there's a crap ton of that. And then
we'll send or kind of finish it up with some Smith specs.
Some Smith specs. Now, this, what we discussed kind of before this episode is like, we're both kind of waiting for that card. They've gone 4 for 4 of the last, not necessarily the standard sets, but the last 4 sets
just
in general
that they're releasing.
That there's been a card that'll make a ton of cards go crazy. Now, so far, that really hasn't happened. We haven't got a new creature type, new commander.
Well, and that's where like I was talking with my friend Nick, and I was going like, there isn't like a legend that's really like going like, oh man, I want to build with that either. Like, I think there's a lot of cool stuff that they have going on because I love a ton of these cards, but nothing where I'm like, oh, I want to build around this. So I might, we're still going to do our Commander Spotlight from this set.
But it's going to be a little different. I think we kind of found one today that was interesting that might be kind of a cool build, which we'll talk about in a little bit as well. But yeah, so let's, should we just jump right into it then? Start off with some of the spoilers that were released today, actually. We can talk about those, and then we'll just go through the list and talk about whatever ones you have a blank stare on your face.
We're just,
okay.
Well, I'm trying to read because there's a couple that are like brand new.
You haven't seen these ones? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first one is kind of going an anti against my dang wall deck, my Arcades deck. It's Citywide Bust. I almost said Burst. Bust, but it's 1 and 2 white. Sorcery, destroy all creatures with toughness 4 or greater. So it's a cheaper remove spell, but it's specific to a 4 for the toughness.
Got to get rid of those dang aggressive walls.
Yes, they're going to kill us all. That is by far like... I played my decks again, testing them out a little bit, making tweaks and all that. That deck is so freaking consistent, it's insane.
Yeah, it's hard to compete against that consistency because you're able to just set up blockers and then draw cards and just become really aggressive with it as well.
Well, and the mana curve on that is, I was looking at all of our decks that we have posted on there on Tapped Out. It by far has the lowest mana curve out of all our decks that are on there. I think it was like 2 point something or whatever for mana curve. So it's crazy. Anyways,
yeah, Citywide Burst seems really cool. And if you hate Arcades,
throw
this in your white deck. There you go. It's it comes out a little bit earlier. It's probably not as important in Commander because you have other wraths that kind of fit whatever mold you want, but this can fit into certain decks if you so choose.
And if you're going like power or little tokens, heavy or whatever,
this can leave a bunch of low toughness creatures on the board and get rid of any of the big guys out there.
Yeah.
So I think it's solid at 3 mana. I like it. Move on to risk
go for
factor. A better browbeat, in my opinion. But 2 colorless and a red. It's an instant, which is awesome. Target opponent may have risk factor deal 4 damage to them If that player doesn't, you draw 3 cards. And this says Jumpstart, which is discard a card, pay the 3 mana, and exile it, and have the card do it again.
Yeah, not so great necessarily in Commander as well. I mean, because with life and everything, it isn't as important. But the fact that it has Jumpstart, that you can do it twice.
Yeah,
that's kind of nice.
I don't know. I think it seems really cool, and like just if it's just like a red deck that doesn't have a lot of draw, I feel like this could be a solid card in there.
But you really want to plan it out. Like, you do it early, they're going to take 4 life, But if it's late game stuff and somebody's really low on the life,
you're going to be able to draw 3 cards.
Exactly. Possibly 6 if you if you're getting them
like,
twice.
Well, like, how about put this in like Fire Song and Sunspeaker, those
where you're actually,
So it's like, okay, you want to take the 4 damage? I'm going to gain 4 life off of this as well, and I can jumpstart it. Or you still get to draw 6 cards.
That's not a bad idea in there. I like that. Next card is, what'd you say, Charnel?
Yeah.
Charnel Troll?
It could be Carnal.
Carnal. But this, anyways, this one, I like this one. This one came out today. For a black and green, it's a troll, 4/4 trample. Now, the downfall of it is at the beginning of upkeep, you have to exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, you get a 1/1 counter on it. But if you don't, you have to sacrifice him. But what you can do is tap green and black, discard a creature card, put another 1/1 counter on him. So potentially, if you're setting it up right, if you're a graveyard type of deck, this guy's a 5/5 by turn 4 with trample. It's kind of, and it could be higher than that depending on what, if you had to discard it. It could be a 6/6 by turn 4.
It seems really
Although you
cool.
wouldn't actually, that wouldn't work out because you'd have to tap the 3 to get him out. So,
but on your next turn, before you attack, you can pay a green and a black and discard a creature and put a 1/1 counter on it. I think it seems really cool. I think this could probably work with Squee the Immortal.
Oh, yeah.
In like a Jund deck. And so you exile it and be able to still cast Squee from exile. Could probably also work with that Sphinx that kind of does the same thing.
Mm-hmm. But then when you're kind of getting out of our colors, so that'd be a little tough.
It depends on whatever commander you're playing. If you're in Jund colors or if you're in Sidisi's colors. Depends.
Yeah. Do we want to move into this guy?
I haven't read any of those. Skip.
Okay.
Commons and uncommons,
All
nobody
right,
cares.
let's do the new Angel then.
Some people do. Light of the Legion, 4 colorless, 2 white, angel flying. It's 5/5. It has Mentor. And just to reiterate what that is for the whenever this creature attacks, put a 1/1 counter on target attacking creature with less power. And then additionally, when Light of the Legion dies, put a 1/1 counter on each white creature you control. How do you feel about that one?
It's interesting. It's not amazeballs. I mean,
the die trigger, like, I feel like if somebody, maybe some removal on it. I'm just not really big on Mentor. I feel like maybe I'm missing something here.
For 6 with a 5/5, I wish it had at least one other kind of ability. I don't know. Vigilance might have helped a little bit there. I don't know. It just, it didn't.
I don't know.
It didn't give me a magic boner, so we'll put it at that.
I feel like they're making Mentor feel like it's going to be a really aggressive mechanic, but I think it stacks really weird, and like it just doesn't really work. So like, I think it checks. Like, let's say you have a 3/3, a 3/3, and 1/2/2, and they all have Mentor. The 2/2 doesn't trigger because there's nothing less than it.
Yeah.
And then the 3/3s both trigger. You have to put it on the 2/2. So one trigger works, and then the other one checks, and it's like, oh, it's not less than.
Well, does it check, though?
Yeah, it checks twice as far as I was reading.
I would think it'd go on the stack, and so it would still hit the same one.
It checks, and it goes, from my understanding now, it checks, and it goes, you're a 2/2, this can work. It checks, you're a 2/2, it works. And then when it's resolving, it goes, you're a 2/2, cool.
Here's your counter.
You're a 3/3, doesn't work.
Interesting, because I would have thought it would have. That's
and so
crazy.
You really can't stack it, as far as I understand, bigger than what is going on.
Huh.
So, like, again, that's from what I was kind of reading. I could be wrong, but it just, again, feels like not a very good mechanic.
Yeah. We have our next, it's our first Vampire Assassin Commander. What is it? Atara? Etrata, the Silencer. This one's really cool. I like it. This is the one I want, where we were talking about building a deck possibly around this one. But anyways, it's 2, a blue and a black. Like I said before, Vampire Assassin. It cannot be blocked. Basically what this does is when it deals combat damage to a player, you get to exile target creature that player controls. You put a hit counter
on it,
on that creature. Then that player loses the game if they have 3 creatures that are exiled with hit counters on it. But what you do after it does the damage is you have to shuffle it back into your library. Well, it's your commander. What happens? It goes into your command zone, so you get to choose because it's going to a different zone. So you can, if I don't know, there could be a couple ways we were discussing beforehand. I was saying do a lot of mono rocks and stuff like that, and then you pointed out, do double strike.
Double strike, give it haste, give it some more like. Try and make more hit counters quickly.
Because if you're going to take out one player, you got to get... It's going to keep dying, So, I mean, you're going to have to hit multiple players with this.
Yeah, so as long as you can hit 3 players, extra turns with this in blue would be nice. Mm-hmm. It seems really pretty cool. Like, if I saw somebody playing this... I would play a lot less creatures than what I like. I would be really slow on it and make sure I'm holding on.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I'm not playing anything anymore.
Yeah, because they can't kill those creatures with a hit counter on them if you don't have them in play. Yeah. So you got to figure out different ways of I'm going to play my creatures and kill a Etrata.
Yeah, that might actually be a tough commander to play because people are going to be like. It might handcuff people from the beginning, though, knowing that commander's there. If you start just stacking up with your equipment and stuff, making it haste and all that, people are going to be like, well, I'm just going to keep one creature out. Because as long as you only have the one creature, this isn't going to kill you because every time it hits you, it gets shuffled into the library.
And if you're playing tokens, I think you get around this as well because the token would be gone before it gets exiled. Mm-hmm. And it's... tokens, you could probably be a bit more aggressive with it, even though she'd be able to destroy the token, but I don't think the hit counter would be in exile because it would be gone. Like that.
Yeah, I agree. All right, next card we got a split. Oh, we got to turn our head sideways.
Yeah. All right, so it's 2 green-white hybrid instant.
Assure.
Yep. And assemble. So Assure is 2 green-white hybrid. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature. That creature gains indestructible until end of turn. I think that's a solid card. Mm-hmm. I think it's fine. It doesn't do a whole ton, but
I mean it's not better than the hexproof and giving indestructible like what we use, but it's another one.
And then the other side of the split card is Assemble, which is 4 colorless, a green and a white, and then create 3 2/2 green and white elf knight creature tokens with vigilance, and that's also at instant speed. Which that seems like I think it scales really nicely. Kind of feels good to turn my head back normal. But yeah, 3 2/2 vigilant knight, like knight tokens are kind of cool. The elf is relevant. Knights will be relevant. They kind of played it up in Dominaria, a little bit in M19. Again, like if you're going for that kind of tribal, that could be working there too. So I think it has some nice flexibility there.
All right, skip these 2 uncommons, right?
Sure.
All right. We'll go into Unmoored Ego. This is 1 blue and black. It's a sorcery. Choose a card name, search target opponent's graveyard, hand, and library for up to 4 cards with that name and exile them. So this is not necessarily focused for your commander deck, but it is a good hate card for a lot of decks out there.
Yeah, well,
that player shuffles their library and then draws a card for each card exiled from their hand this way.
And so, like, if you know somebody has a combo piece in their hand, you can cast this, get rid of it. They can draw another card. If you know it's in their deck, you can just go and take it from their deck, and nothing else happens. These kind of cards are pretty specific. Yeah. I don't like playing them in Commander.
Yeah. But I mean, there's gonna be a lot of modern possibly, and
I heard a lot of people complaining about like so much Tron hate. Yeah. So go cry a river.
Yeah.
I like.
You want to talk about that one?
The one on the right. Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Disinformation campaign enchantment. It is a colorless, a blue, and a black.
Yeah, I do like this one too. I was reading it again.
When Disinformation Campaign enters the battlefield, you draw a card for each opponent.
Draw a card, and
each opponent discards a card.
Yep.
Whenever you surveil Disinformation Campaign to its owner's hand.
So you get to return it if you surveil at any point. That's pretty sweet because it doesn't do anything else if you're not playing with surveil.
Yeah,
so.
you kind of want it in a specific surveil deck, but having all of your
being able
opponents
to
discard
discard
a card
and you draw that
a card
advantage
and continuing
is pretty
to do
sweet.
that. I actually thought this was more of a sorcery and bringing it back from your graveyard, but being an enchantment is kind of cool. So if you're trying to have permanence in play, I can't think of a reason for that, but it could be kind of cool that way.
Yeah, using the surveil thing with this, it could be a very interesting card. I dig that card. Do we want to talk about any of these guys?
I'm fine with the Conclave Cavalier.
Conclave Cavalier. This is 2 green, 2 white. It is a Centaur Knight. Vigilance 4/4. When it dies, create 2/2/2 green white elf knights with vigilance as well.
Yeah, and this seems like really good value.
Yeah.
I feel like the other ones that are like 2 red, 2 blue or whatever, they have that for each color. It's kind of a little bit of a mini cycle. I feel like the other ones aren't very good. Like that is a pretty steep cost. And so like 4 mana for a 4/4 vigilance that when it dies gives you 2/2/2s. Like that to me seems like decent value, but after that they really didn't impress me. And,
yeah. I kind of dig this one. We should probably maybe talk about that. Just the fact that you get to go get gates, I guess.
Yeah, basic lands are gates. So there's a sorcery that allows you to go and get.
So that one's interesting
land
to be able to get the
or
gates.
gate,
But the thing is with Commander, you shouldn't be playing with gates. So
they are kind of pushing gates. So maybe they have something interesting going on. But
then we get into.
Oh, do I get to do this one?
Yeah.
Divine Visitation. Mythic enchantment, 3 colorless, 2 white. If one or more creature tokens would be created under your control, that many 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying and vigilance are created instead.
It's pretty nuts.
That seems so awesome.
Yeah.
That seems like so much fun.
Freaking nuts. That's going to be crazy in token decks. And just
so as long as you aren't specifically making 4/4 angel tokens in your deck and you're making something easier and cheaper, man, I want to put this in my my enchantment deck now, because it's making Eldrazi tokens, and then they just turn into 4/4 flying vigilance. That sounds awesome to me, and it's an enchantment.
Yeah,
I like this a lot.
It doesn't fit for my my new deck because my new deck is red blue, so that doesn't work at all. But
like if you have white in a token deck that's making cheap tokens, like oh man, what is it? Reverse the Sands or whatever from Cons. I think we talked about it during the Warriors. White and X, and then you put that many X counters into play.
Yeah.
Just think about that.
They're all
like
4/4.
You have this into play, and you tap, you get
the hard part is
4/4.
Well, I guess you could base it around that, but man, yeah, it's a good card.
If I get this, I'm going to put it in my Gahiji deck as well. I want 2.
Then we move into another mythic rare or mythic enchantment. It is 1,000-Year Storm, 4 red and blue, and this is whenever you cast an instant or a sorcery spell, copy it for each other instant and sorcery spell you have cast before it this turn. You may choose new targets for the copies. That's pretty ridiculous.
I want this to go into my Dragon Engine deck. Ramos. Because all I'm doing is playing
just
spells in that.
Yeah, and then it's
deck.
double. Yeah,
man, it seems really awesome. Like, this is probably better than Maelstrom. The Maelstrom, I think it is.
The Maelstrom?
It gives your first spell every turn gets Cascade.
Oh, yeah.
And that's 5 mana, like, of each color, and this feels just like maybe just more powerful. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I'd like to build a deck. I don't have a lot of decks that deal with a lot of instants and sorcery, especially with... I do have the Rashmi, but that's green-blue, so I really won't work with me
tough
on that. But
if you're casting spells, if you're spell slinging, you want this.
Yeah, definitely.
1,000-Year Storm. This is awesome. All right.
Do you want to do the split? Because it's uncommon.
Oh, is it? No. Skip it. I don't want to pay attention to it.
Fuck the uncommons. Although it doesn't. It's not bad. Cool. I actually like that card. Let's do that one.
Ah, damn it. All right. Kink in the neck. Sorcery. It's Discovery. Colorless and a hybrid black or blue. surveil 2, and then you draw a card. Simple, easy. And then there's Dispersal, which is 3 colorless and a black and a blue. Instant. Each opponent returns a non-land permanent they control with the highest converted mana cost to their hand, and then they all discard a card. That seems really cool.
That is.
That one seems very powerful.
Especially if it's late game, too, and they don't have any really cards in their hand, so you're just getting a discard.
That seems really cool.
Card to the hand. Oh, damn it.
There's a card that's kind of similar to this. It's called Lobotomy. It's an older card, but you return a creature to their hand, I believe it is, and then they have to discard a card. So, if they don't have any cards in hand, it's just kind of a kill spell.
All right, next one, Hatchery Spider, 5, 2 green. It's a spider. 5/7 reach, has undergrowth. When you cast a spell, reveal the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. You may put a green permanent card with converted mana cost X or less from them onto the battlefield, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. It's interesting. I don't like that it's specific to a green.
Think about that Genesis Hydra.
That's what I'm saying. That and Genesis. There's so many better cards than this.
Yeah, and this being a 7 and if
7 drop and it.
It's like a bad card if somebody has graveyard removal.
Yeah.
It's straight bad.
Just a 5/7 spider. Your old school spider.
You don't have any enabling in it. I just don't.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Yep, I agree.
Bulk rare. If you get it, trade as quick as you can.
This guy?
One I really like.
Yeah, this one's pretty interesting.
Chance for Glory. Instant. 1 colorless, a white and a red. Creatures you control gain indestructible. Notice it does not say until
I know. I
heard
that. Actually, I was listening.
They just gain indestructible.
I was listening
so I
to
don't
the
know what the heck
Goldfish
is going on there.
podcast today, and they mentioned that. But you have to get around that. I mean, okay, go ahead.
Okay, take an extra turn after this one. At the beginning of that turn's end step, you lose the game.
So at least for 2 turns, they're indestructible.
Sure, yeah. I had a deck that I wanted to build with this, and then I didn't realize Final Fortune wasn't in Modern.
Oh,
and now this is perfect. I love it.
Now you're gonna build. Yeah, this is pretty sweet.
You go with Sundial of the Infinite, and then you have Platinum Angel out, and there's and then maybe you have Angel's Grace or something, and
they stay indestructible.
It seems really cool.
It's crazy that they did that, though. Normally it says it makes sense because you have the 2 turns, so it's trying to make it so you can actually win on those 2 turns. Next one is Dream Eater, right? We didn't talk about that guy.
No, we haven't.
4 and 2 blue. It's a 4/3 flash. It's a Nightmare Sphinx. Pretty scary. It has flying when it enters the battlefield. Surveil 4, which is pretty. That's the highest that they have so far, isn't it? Surveil 4.
Except for the next card.
That's not the highest. Where are you reading that? Okay. Anyways, Surveil 4. When you do, you may return target non-land permanent and opponent controls to its owner's hand. This one's just it's a pretty decent card all around. It's also, I didn't know if I said it, but it is a mythic as well.
Yeah. And so I was sitting there thinking this is pretty similar to the Mana War Sphinx from M19, which I bashed a little bit, and I was rightfully so. But this card is just so much better. Having Flash, Surveil 4 is pretty powerful,
and you get to bounce something,
bouncing a non-land permanent as well instead of just a creature. This is just
does a lot.
Yeah, it has a lot of ETBs, and having Flash on it seems really cool.
Yeah,
and a 4/3 flyer isn't really anything to.
Now I see what you're talking about with the next card because you can stack it is why you were saying that. I just meant that's the highest number. The next one is one of my favorites in this whole set.
It's my favorite in the whole set.
I said that to you.
No.
I said this is my favorite card in this whole set. And then,
I agreed.
Yeah, we had 2 cards on there. It's this one's my favorite card. And then they also revealed this card. You're like, that one sucks. And I was like, no.
I didn't say that.
No, you're saying to the other one?
Oh, the other one.
Yeah. You're like, that one sucks. I was like, no, I'm talking about Doom Whisperer is the freaking sweet guy.
Okay, so good introduction. Doom Whisperer, which is
so
freaking bonkers.
Sweet.
Okay, 3 colorless, 2 black, 6/6 flying trample. You get to pay 2 life and you surveil 2, so you can pay 6 life and surveil 6. I'm just
pausing that. It's 5 for a 6/6 flying trample. No, just that in itself is pretty freaking sweet. And then you add that onto it.
Pay 2 life, surveil 2. If I was trying to break it out and what am I going to compare it to?
Well, it's trying to do the Razaketh kind of thing, where the Razaketh and
Yeah, you can pay 2 life and go search for anything.
But you know what I'm saying? I feel like it fits that.
Sure, but at the same time, this is castable. Like,
yeah.
you don't have to choose.
No, I know. That's
anyway.
what I'm saying. This one's better than those. I love this card.
It's okay. Like, so I was trying to is this better than Grizzlebrand?
That's what I'm saying. It's that branch. So it's Grizzlebrand, Razaketh, and this. Like they're all kind of the similar cards.
I can see this. So like, Razaketh and Grizzlebrand are just like really good, but you want to like reanimate them or kind of cheat them into play because you don't want to cast. They're too much. Mana, stuff like that. This is 5. This is easily castable. And it's aggressive, like 6/6 flying trample. So if somebody has a bunch of 1/1 chumps, it just goes right through.
This thing's bonkers.
Like the Surveil 2, and like paying the 2 life of the Surveiling 2 is also bonkers.
Yeah.
Like if it didn't have trample or flying, it was just a 6/6 nightmare demon that had Surveil 2.
That would be a good card. Yeah, you
card.
take one of the 2 lines out, and it's still a really good card.
Yeah, and so like I was just thinking like. Think about putting this in like what I mentioned last week.
Every black deck,
any black deck that deals with the graveyard.
Yeah,
this should be going.
It specifically has to be with graveyard, but it could even work with non-graveyard
again.
stuff.
Yeah, still good because it still sets the top of your library. Like I don't like either of those. I don't like either of those. Oh, I'll do that.
Yeah,
like and you can do it as many times as you want.
Speed.
At the end of your opponent's turn.
Set your top up basically.
Yeah, this card is crazy. This could go in your Rico deck.
I think it's gonna go. Yeah, it's gonna go in the ninjas definitely.
I mean,
because then it also adds
so
me. I mean, it's 5 to come out. It's freaking insane. Okay, we're like geeking out.
Oh my god, this thing
crazy. Is so amazing.
No, honestly, if you get it, keep it. In my opinion, non-foils should be worth $20 to $30. Yeah, this thing is crazy good.
Yeah, it's an awesome. I mean, it shows 11 right now, and it's like, well, if they're pre-saling this, that I might pick up a few copies.
If it's sitting around 10, I should probably sit down and buy a couple of them.
Oh, I'm changing my spec for the week. No, I'm just kidding.
Spec on Doom Whisperer right now.
All right. We'll go on to another card and stop just jizzing all over this thing. Arc-Light Phoenix.
Can we come back to Doom Whisperer later?
I see what you did there.
What?
Come back?
Gross.
You did it.
You pointed it out.
Arc-Light Phoenix, 3 and a red. All these Phoenixes, there's only like one good Phoenix, but anyways, it's a flying 3/2 with haste. And at the beginning of your combat, on your turn, if you cast 3 or more instant or sorcery spells, you may return the Phoenix from your graveyard to the battlefield. I never liked this. I back in the day when the first Phoenix came out, I loved it, and I don't like the Phoenixes as much.
Like this at Mythic is probably worse than Chandra's Phoenix at Rare. From like M12 or 13 or whatever. Like, this isn't very good.
No. The only thing I kind of dig the art a little bit, but that's pretty much where it stops for me.
It's like, I don't know.
All right.
It's blah.
This one's kind of crazy.
Nullhide Ferox. 2 colorless, 2 green, 6/6. It has hexproof.
I will say really quick, I don't like the art of this one, but
the art is
really
ugly
stupid.
as bonk. So it has hexproof. You can't cast non-creature spells, so probably not bad in creature-heavy decks, stuff like that. Has an ability of 2 colorless. It loses all abilities until end of turn. Any player may activate this ability. And then also on top of that, if an opponent forces you to discard it, it comes into play. So
I guess the 4 for a 6/6 is the part that's pretty good. I mean, they have to tap mana to get it, to take the hexproof off and all that fun stuff. But 4 for a 6/6 is pretty decent in itself. I don't.
And this is Mythic, by the way.
Yeah, it is a Mythic. I don't know.
I think it's interesting enough. I think it's worthy of mythicness.
Yeah.
Because it's different enough.
Well, for the casting cost and for that big of a creature, but it can be chump. If it had trample with it, it might help a little bit more. But
trample helps
everything.
All, yeah. So
trample.
I think it's pretty interesting with you can't cast non-creature spells. It's probably this. I don't think this is a commander card. Yeah. In my opinion.
This is going to be more used in your standard.
I mean, if you really want to, you could probably play it in like Rurik Thar, which is like it'll deal 4 damage to you if it's a non-creature spell. So like this forces you just to be all creatures again. Anyway, so not a commander card in my opinion.
All right, and then we didn't talk about her, right?
Nope.
Aurelia, Exemplar of Justice. Did I say her name right?
I think it's Exemplar of Meh.
Of meh? Because it's 2 red and a white. It is an angel. So we have a legendary creature angel. Flying Mentor. It's your mentor stuff again. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, choose up to 1 target creature you control until end of turn. That creature gets 2/0, gains trample if it's red, and gains vigilance if it is white. It is a 2/5. Go on to the next card.
Yeah. I mean...
I was excited
it's like
about the next card, though.
So, like, okay, maybe you turn her into a 4/5, and then you can mentor whatever's on the field. But, like, if you give that +2/+0 to anything else, her mentor doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so, like, I guess if you have a 1/1 in play, but, like, again, you're just working really hard. You could turn her into a 4/5 flying trample vigilance for that turn.
Well, I guess that would help with making the counters go on everything else, though.
Yeah.
Because you're pumping her up with the 2/0, so then you're able to pump other things up. But, I mean...
Again, I could be wrong. It is 4 mana, which is decent.
For a potential 4/5 on your attack.
Maybe Mentor's just better than I think.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out.
Feels really bad. All right, moving on. Lazav the Disappointment.
I actually like him, though.
Okay. It's blue and a black. It's a 1/3. When Lazav enters the battlefield, surveil 1. And then you can pay X, and Lazav becomes a copy of target creature in your graveyard. And it keeps this ability type thing.
But it has to,
and it's a 1/3.
It has to cost X or less.
Yeah.
From what's in your graveyard. I think it's kind of funny. It just has the surveil just for shits and giggles when he comes out. We'll give you a surveil 1. It doesn't like move with any part of his ability anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like, oh, we're just gonna add a little.
Let's just
fun
tack
enter
on
the
surveil
battlefield
on everything,
ability,
which is perfectly fine for me. I love how much they're kind of pushing surveil.
Yeah, I know, I do dig that,
really
but
cool.
it just feels weird that it's with that. But it's Lazav is back, but it's a weaker Lazav.
Yeah,
that's why he costs less to come out and all that. The other Lazav is much better, but this one's interesting. I like that they kept with the same idea as the other Lazav.
I was talking with my friend Nick about this too, and it's kind of like, I wish it wasn't. I wish the surveil wasn't an ETB. I wish it was like an activated ability, like maybe black and a blue come into play, black and a blue to surveil.
That's what I was saying.
1.
It seems weird that they just have it as a enter the battlefield,
so,
because he's only doing it the once. Although he is low casting if he's your commander and they keep killing it. Maybe that's the idea.
You don't want to cast it. Like maybe that's the idea. You sit down, you don't cast it until you got a bunch of creatures in your graveyard, but you can't do that without surveilling or milling or whatever. But then later on, you can cast him and then also turn it into whatever creature at that same time.
Yeah.
So it's maybe okay.
Question mark?
But if it had the activated ability and you can mana sink into either or, then I think that would be a lot more helpful. And it's a mythic. I don't know if it's mythic worthy, in my opinion, because if you want it to be something awesome, you're going to be paying a lot of mana, which I don't like recasting creatures, if that makes sense. I don't want to cast a creature to turn it into another creature for a lot more mana. So,
I think that's the card that when I text you, I was like, that demon and that, and I was like, oh, that demon's sweet, and Lazav is back, and you're like, Lazav sucks. And I was like, no, but the demon's awesome. I was just saying it's cool that Lazav is back. All right, next mythic. We got a lot of mythics going here. March of the Multitudes.
Yep.
I was gonna say multi-tides, and then I was like, nope, that's not it.
Multi-YouTubes.
X green and 2 white. Instant convoke. You create X/1/1 soldier creature tokens. If you have that other thing out, they turn into 4 with lifelink. But if you have the enchantment, X/4/4 flying vigilant angels. They won't have lifelink though.
No, they won't.
I'd rather have the lifelink.
Wow.
No, I'm just kidding.
A bunch of 1/1s. All right.
I think it's pretty sweet. I like that it's an instant.
I'll just continue playing against you if that's what you prefer.
I like that it's an instant ability as well. So it's
being an instant seems really cool.
It's pretty sweet.
I think a lot of people are really excited about this card in Standard because you can easily play 4 of them and they just stack on top of each other.
Oh yeah, because you convoke
play it
and everything
at the end of the turn,
and
then the next turn you have all your more creatures. Then you do it again, and like if you're just stacked with them, that's fine.
Yeah,
as long as it seems really powerful. Either way.
I like it. I want it.
Yeah, it's a great sync at the later game in Commander.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So seems pretty sweet.
All right, and then our green-white commander.
Trostani Discordant. 3 colorless, green-white, legendary creature Dryad. That's a 1/4. Other creatures you control get +1/+1. When Trostani enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 white soldier creature tokens with lifelink. And at the beginning of your end step, each player gains control of all creatures they own. So it's a Glorious Anthem.
Yeah.
It's Regal Caracal from Amonkhet. When that comes into play, you create 2 1/1s and they have lifelink.
Lifelink. Woo.
Yeah, so it's very similar to that, 5 mana. And then they tack on...
At the beginning of your end step, each player
gain control of all creatures. Like
that part seems weird to have in there, but...
It does. Yeah, I don't really understand it.
Because that isn't really the colors you're playing... What is it? The zebra dude that you exchange permanents. Isn't that red, blue?
Red, white, blue.
Is it red, white, blue?
Yeah,
he is. That's right. What's his name? Zedrid. Yeah, there we go. I knew there was a Z in there with a Z. But it just that part's weird to have in here.
Yeah, so like is Zedrid is cool. I think he's cool to play against. Like it's a interesting archetype, and I don't know if I want a hoser as my commander.
Yeah.
For it. So kind of tacked on. This seems underwhelming in my opinion. The Regal Caracal from Amonkhet's a rare. I'm not sure if this is
going to be the mythic that we don't want to get, and we're going to get it.
Yeah.
You're going to get it in your box. All right, and then
I'll put as much in my box as possible.
Oh yeah. Then we got finally Vraska got shown here.
Seems pretty sweet.
Golgari Queen. This is 2 in black and green, which is awesome. I like the 4-drop commanders.
Yep.
Comes in with 4 loyalty. You may sacrifice another permanent. If you do, you gain 1 life and you get to draw a card. -3, destroy target non-land permanent with converted mana cost 1 or less. Wait, is that 1 or less? Yeah. No, 3 or less. My bad.
Yeah, 3.
And then your ultimate is -9. You get the emblem whenever a creature... This thing is freaking insane.
That's nuts.
You get the emblem whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game. So it's like... It's better than the original Vraska that made the 3/1/1 assassins that had to get through. This is any of your creatures that get through and hit somebody at that point is dead. It's freaking sweet.
I don't normally get like excited about ultimates on Planeswalkers because they're so hard to
get.
Hit.
Yeah.
But it almost feels like the other two. I'm like not really excited. The plus and the minus, but that ultimate gets me.
Yeah.
Gets me there. And so like you could just +2 it and not sacrifice anything if you didn't want to, or
it doesn't have doubling season effect though.
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't come in an ultimate right away.
It'd go 8.
They did it right because that would have been completely broken if they came in and you just had to attack with all your creatures and everybody was dead. Like that would have been really stupid.
That's smart of them. Yeah, it just seems really cool.
Yeah,
I really enjoy the card.
And they haven't revealed this one's going to be the full art one, but have you seen the full art of it yet?
Yeah, it looks good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see that one yet. I'm going to have to pull it up after we're done with this cast. All right, and then this guy.
Bounty Agent. It is a 2/2 human soldier, 1 colorless and a white, has vigilance. Sacrifice Bounty Agent, destroy target legendary permanent that's an artifact, creature, or enchantment.
I can see this going into white decks a little bit because it does have your targeting commanders.
Yeah, you're going after commanders. I think it has a specific one. 2/2 vigilance isn't too bad because you can attack with it and then tap it, sacrifice it in response, or you're always able to use that ability if you're able to.
I think it's actually a pretty decent card for commander, and it looks. We'll wait and see what happens when it comes out. But it's
I wish
cheap.
it just said legendary permanent.
Yeah, because
actually
if somebody's playing with a planeswalker as their commander, you can't touch that.
Yeah.
Then
I would have much preferred that.
You only want that because then it gets rid of Gaia's Cradle. That's that's why you want that. Because it doesn't.
How'd you know?
All right. We didn't do mission briefing, right?
Nope,
so
correct.
2 blue, instant. Surveil 2, then choose an instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. You may cast this card this turn. If that card would be put into your graveyard this turn, exile it instead. It's pretty good.
Well,
if you like playing a lot of stuff, I mean, it's your. I like that it has the surveil too, so you can almost kind of set it up too.
I saw this being compared to Snapcaster.
I was gonna say it's a Snapcaster, but not in a creature form.
You don't have the creature, but you get the surveil, which is kind of important and cool. And so I think the two work well together as well. So think of cast or Snapcaster into mission breathing, and then surveil 2, and then do something like if you're running out of gas or whatever. Yeah, it's a stretch, but I think it seems pretty cool. Yeah.
Next card.
Omnispell Adept. 4 colorless and a blue for a 3/4 human wizard. And then you can 2 colorless and a white, tap it. You may cast an instant or sorcery card from your hand without paying its mana cost. I really like this card. That seems really cool.
It's kind of bonkers there, actually, if you think about it. I mean, if you're thinking of the extra turn sorcery spells and all that, that can cost
they're all
a lot.
Like 7, 8, 9 now.
Or like even the ones, the ones where it's 2 turns. What is that? That one's temporal, whatever it is. But the one that's like 10 casting costs, like just being able to do all that for 3, that's pretty insane.
Is this the Elvish
Piper of instants and sorceries? It needs to be a 1 blue casting cost. Because that's a little higher casting.
For 5. Like, so they kind of adjusted it a little bit, but it feels like
I like that comparison. I like that.
So it seems like you just sit down and like, man, just like Storm Herd on turn 6.
God,
like,
I wish it was legendary.
For free. What do you mean?
If it was a legendary creature, that your commander. Jeez. I like the card. And going back to mission briefing too, I do like that card. It's actually going to be for people that don't have Snapcaster like myself. This would be a cheaper version of getting Snapcaster. That does a very similar thing.
I like that they're doing different versions of Snapcaster at this point, because they did the red pirate from Ixalan Block. That's semi-similar as well.
The red. Oh yeah.
So I can't quite remember the name of that one, but that seems pretty cool.
Yeah. And then did we do Midnight Reaper?
We have not.
So that is 2 and 1 black. It is whatever a non-token creature you control dies. Midnight Reaper deals 1 damage to you and you draw a card. It is a 3/2 zombie knight.
So one thing that I was thinking is it's pretty cool because it deals 1 damage to you. Oftentimes these effects, lose 1 life. And so you could potentially prevent it or give Midnight Reaper lifelink so that it nulls it.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes some things trigger off of damage dealt.
Like how sorry, kind of going off on a tangent, but it looks like the Lord of the Rings, the kind of brain farting, and Lord of the Rings is my jam, my diddle jam.
It is. What?
It looks like.
Does that mean what you think it means?
But I mean, look at it. It even looks like the hobbits are hiding underneath where the horse is coming by.
It does, yeah. That might be what they're trying to go off of, actually.
That's kind of what are they called? Why am I brain farting on that? Because
I'm leaving you hanging.
Don't you? You know?
Sure. No, but you're the one that diddle jams to it, so.
Well, Game of Thrones turned into my diddle jam, so Lord of the Rings is my PG diddle jam.
I'm not sure if we're probably gonna get like banned for saying diddle.
Diddle?
That's so weird.
Diddle? It's not even a word.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say diddle without doing the nursery rhyme like "Hey, cat in the fiddle." Like,
I'm gonna bleep that.
That's just wrong.
All right, next card.
Ritual of Soot. It's 2 colorless, 2 black. It's a sorcery. Destroy all creatures with converted mana cost 3 or less. I'd rather have Consume the Meek at 5 mana, but an instant. So other than that, I think it's if you're running a 4 mana Bad Wrath, don't.
Yeah.
Just get a real Wrath. Unless you're playing maybe like Big Creature Reanimator, and then you just don't have a lot of support creatures. and you're just trying to keep them off you. I'm
Ring wraiths.
spitballing. Yeah, you're cheating.
Yeah, I had to look it up because it was bugging the shit out of me. I wasn't even listening to what you were reading anymore. I was like, I got to figure out what the hell are they called? What did Gollum call them? Like, I couldn't remember. I was like, what the hell? The Nazgul. All right. Anyways, okay, yeah. Don't get that card.
No one cares. All right. You don't care. No one cares. If you're not going to listen to me, nobody will.
I'm sorry, Lowry.
No,
all right. Erratic Cyclops, 3 and a red. Trample. It is a 0/8. This sucks. No. Whenever you cast an instant or a sorcery spell, Erratic Cyclops gets X+0 until end of turn, where X is the spell's converted mana cost. That's pretty crazy. Especially if you're copying spell. Oh, no, it's cast. So you're the copy spell when count.
Yeah, correct.
But just casting instants and sorceries, and it gets that much bigger, and it's has a huge butt on it too.
Well, like the first thing that like there are cards that like switch power and toughness, and so like or instant sorcery. So like my first thought was attack with a 0/8, have Twisted Image in your hand, which flips.
But you also get the Twisted Image
you
ability.
Draw a card
so your
off
guys
of it, and then it's an 8/1 Trampler that they didn't block. I mean, it's a stretch for Commander. I don't know if I'd
build a deck around it.
Yeah. I don't think there's enough support either for that. So, Beast Whisperer.
I like this guy.
It is 2 colorless, 2 green. It's a 2/3 elf druid. Whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It's a rare.
It's not going to go crazy expensive, but it's a good card. I like the casting and draw.
It's a cast one. It's one of the cheaper versions of this because there's a couple that are
they're like 6
5
and
6
5
mana. Yeah. So like Soul of the Harvest and.
So they just made him so he wasn't as big because I think those guys one's a 4/5 and
there's like a 6/6 trample.
Yeah. So I like it. I like anytime you're casting creatures and drawing cards, it's always good.
Mm-hmm.
Vivid Revival, right? We didn't have that one in there. 4 and a green. Return up to 3 target multicolored cards from your graveyard to your hand. Exile Vivid Revival.
Yeah, I don't think that's very good. You have cards that bring back 2 and 3.
This is for 5. I mean, if it was maybe an
conditional
instant
with multicolored,
it's
not even multicolored itself.
Yeah.
So like, that seems not cool.
But I like this next card.
You like it, or do you love it?
I like it.
I
love it. I want some more of it.
Oh boy. This, in my opinion, this is the money rare.
You think? Oh, set. It is. Yes, it's already at $26.
Okay,
yeah, you're right.
This card is bonkers good. Yeah. Assassin's Trophy is what we're talking about. It's an instant, black and a green. Destroy target permanent an opponent controls. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card and then put it into play.
Then shuffle their library. Put it on the battlefield. It isn't tapped, though.
Oh, yeah. I was expecting tapped. So, yeah, they get to put that land into play, untapped, and then they shuffle their library.
It's your Path to Exile with...
Yeah, but this is any permanent.
Yeah.
At instant speed. Like, I can hit Gaia's Cradle with this. I'd be super pumped with that. Like, this is land destruction.
Yeah.
Even though, and they go and get a basic big whoop. If you really want to, you can like stop people from going and searching their libraries if you want to be that kind of person. Like, have Leonin Arbiter if you're in.
Oh, yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
David Mind Sensor, you got Stranglehold, you got a couple of cards that say don't go searching.
Just be a douche. Yeah. No, it's a good removal.
Card is really good.
It's interesting because it's. I like that it's path pretty much, but better.
Yeah.
But you have 2 colors, so it makes it a little more difficult for it to actually work. So we got, what is this? Deafening Clarion?
That's how I'd say it.
1 red and white sorcery. Choose one or both. It either deals 3 damage to target each creature, or creatures you control gain lifelink until end of turn, or you can do both.
Yeah. I think I really like the flexibility on it. 3 mana is not bad to deal 3 damage to each creature on its own.
Yeah.
And then giving all your creatures that live lifelink.
Which is pretty sweet in itself.
No, that seems like a really cool card.
Yep. Wipe out all those tokens, which is always nice.
Ionize. Colorless, red or blue and a red, instant, counter target spell.
Oops. Sorry. I just took it away as he's reading it.
Ionize deals 2 damage to target that spell's controller. Yeah. Pretty basic.
It's counterspell. with little damage.
It's fine.
That's why you have the little
I
red
like
in
it.
there.
I would like it a lot more than Counterspell for Commander because it has that tacked on ability. Counterspell is just kind of boring.
Yeah.
So
we don't like
it's probably not
counterspells.
better, but I would probably like this better. If that makes sense.
Izani Thousand-Eyed.
Is that how you'd say it?
Izani? What would you say?
Izani?
Azani?
Well, it has 1,000 eyes, so I would assume.
I like that. Azani.
Izani. Izani. It's probably Izani. Yeah.
Thousand-Eyed. This is 2 black, 2 green. Legendary creature, Elf Shaman. It has Undergrowth. When it enters the battlefield, you get to create a 1/1 black and green insect creature token. Man, words are coming good. For each creature card in your graveyard, you can tap a black and a green, sacrifice another creature, you gain 1 life, and draw a card. This you could use as a commander pretty well.
It's a 2/3.
Yeah. It's a lot of high casting costs for this.
I think it's either really good or pretty bad. So
or somewhere in the middle.
I don't think so. I don't think it's in the
no
middle. It's not going to be okay. It's you're either just abusing your graveyard and being able to do it. Like this isn't. I don't think you just want to play this in your deck and just go ho hum. I'll get 2 off of this. Like that's bad. Paying 6 to get a 2/3 and 2 1/1s. Like you just don't do that. So,
but yeah, you could build a deck around this pretty well. I like that it's the also, your typical draw card, but normally it's lose a life but this is the gain a life, so it flipped it.
Like the problem in my mind with all of the Undergrowth cards is like you don't have any real way to like enable it, and so it's almost forcing you to be 3 colors. So you either need to be, you probably want to be in blue, like I was saying with Sidisi, and so you're playing Surveil, which naturally works
puts
with
cards
Undergrowth.
in
Or I mean, if you want to be, you can't. I just you naturally playing Undergrowth cards just isn't really going to do you much. You need to get those creatures in the graveyard somehow. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah. All right. Next one.
Night of Autumn. It's 2/1. It's a colorless, a green and a white, Dryad Knight. When it enters the battlefield, choose one of these abilities. So you can either put 2 1/1 counters on Night of Autumn, which would make it a 4/3 for 3, or you get to destroy target artifact or enchantment and be a 2/1, or you gain 4 life.
That's pretty interesting to have those 3 on a creature. Like it's I kind of dig it.
Yeah, I think
for
the flexibility
3-drop
on this is really cool. Like, a 3-drop for 2/1 that destroys an artifact or enchantment. That's
probably the route you're going a little bit more. But I mean, you definitely could do the counters. I'd say the gaining life is like only for emergency type thing. But
again, if you can have this in a life gain deck too. Like, so it just, I think the flexibility is really nice.
Yeah. Right. Then we didn't get this guy right. Oh no, we didn't get Niv Mizzet yet. Niv Mizzet Parun.
I call it Parun. It might not. It's like a Parun.
Maroon. This one's gonna be tough to bring out, but 3 blue, 3 red. It's a legendary dragon wizard. 5/5. This spell can't be countered. Flying. Whenever you draw a card, Niv Mizzet does its normal thing. 1 damage to any target. Whenever a player casts an instant or a sorcery spell, you may draw a card. That's pretty sweet in itself.
That is pretty cool, especially in multiplayer like Commander.
Yeah, but man, the 3 blue and 3 red, it's going to be tough. Even if you're just playing those 2 colors, it's just...
You need to be really devoted in your mana to doing that. You need, like...
Everything multicolor. Like, you need to have dual everything.
I wish they would have made this card mythic and made it easier to cast.
Yeah. Because its abilities are pretty sweet.
Are really cool, but the 3 blue, 3 red is really restrictive. And my mind went right over it. Do you know, like, Krond, blah, 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 of the sun or whatever?
No.
It's 3 green, 3 white. It's like a 5/5 flyer. And then whenever it attacks, if it's enchanted, it destroys target permanent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's almost uncastable as a legend as well. Like, even in your enchantment deck, it's just like... It's so hard because you can't play any utility lands, which are so important in Commander. Like, you got to play some type of filters to make sure that your colorless turn into colored lands. It's a lot of work, and it's It sucks.
And even
I wish
still,
it
like
wasn't
the last ability on it, which is really nice for you drawing cards for instant and sorceries, but that's not like abusive, like, Consecrated Sphinx, where it's like everybody's going to draw a card on their turn and you're going to draw cards. This is like some people might not play instant and sorceries.
It's like a heuristic study.
Yeah. But yeah, next.
Oh, you know what? I thought it was just a spell, but it is instant or sorcery spell.
Yeah, so you have
not nearly as good as I thought it was.
So for it being the 3/3, like you would think it'd make it a little easier because that part isn't that crazy. It's just gonna handcuff some people from not playing that. But man, you're gonna have trouble getting that out. Why don't we move on to the next card?
Swiftblade Vindicator. It's a red and a white for a 1/1. Double strike, vigilance, trample. Probably put this in Voltron decks.
Mm-hmm.
Like if your commander's not really working,
sure.
then you just stack your equipment or enchantments on this, and it's good to go.
Yep. Then we got Thief of Sanity, 1 blue and black. It's a specter. I like those hypnotic specter, or we called them sphincters back in the day.
We did because we were immature then.
we aren't at all.
Now we're adults.
And we don't laugh about that.
No,
it's a flying 2/2. Whenever this the Thief of Sanity deals combat damage to a player, look at the top 3 cards of that player's library, exile one of them face down. Then put the rest in the graveyard. For as long as that card remains exiled, you may look at it, and you may cast it as though... Or you can spend any mana to cast that spell. I think this is one of the better ones, because the other ones are like discard a card or whatever. But being able to take the top 3 cards, choose one of them, and potentially cast it, I think that's pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, it's decent card advantage for yourself. Yeah. And like it could kind of bite you in the butt if you're going up against graveyard decks, because you could potentially be helping them on that end too.
Dude, and it's the Nazgul when they're on the dragons.
It kind of is.
It's Lord of the Rings right now they're doing here.
They're stealing it.
Yeah, they are. It's almost. I mean, they don't
Mr.
really...
Tolkien.
Copyright.
We got go after these guys.
I think that wraps up. Besides, did we talk about... Okay, we got one more.
One that I'm not super psyched about, but Guild Mage's Forum. It's a land, taps for a colorless, and you can tap 1 and tap it, add 1 mana of any color. If that mana is spent on a multicolored creature spell, that creature enters the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on it. So
for your commander,
you have the Opal Palace.
Yeah.
That does the same thing, and that's not good enough to see play. And
I put opals in decks if they're 3 colors, typically.
Like, I only do it if I can get like an advantage with the +1/+1 counters, like. But even then, it generally gets
opal, because you can depending on how many times you cast it, you get that many more counters.
Yeah,
so that's
the other reason why it's worth it. Like this feels maybe like this is less powerful. This is more like the new commander land that they did. Like if you tap it, put a 1/1 counter on your legend. That's pretty much all this feels like. But again, this is for multicolored creature spells. Like like it doesn't get me there.
That should do it for the spoilers for the rares and mythics for the most part. We threw in a couple uncommons there. We
kind of skipped those hybrid ones.
Which hybrid ones?
I don't think we talked about those.
These are uncommon. Oh, there is a couple of those. Oh, sorry. Okay.
We'll do it next week.
You want to?
Yeah, let's do it next week.
Okay.
I don't know what we're going to talk about next week if we...
All right, so let's move into...
Smith Specs of the Week.
There we go. I'm gonna add. I got the idea.
You don't have to speed that one up
I'm gonna
at
do
all.
the sounder. I'm gonna do
like
some guitar, something like I talked about in the one episode. Nope. Now we're gonna use that. All right. So my first spec of the week. Actually, there's kind of talking about going with all the temples. If you don't have the temples. If you don't know what I mean with the temples, but they were the cards that were multicolor when they came into play. You can scry 1. It comes into play tap, but you scry 1, and then it taps for either like blue or green or whatever. Go for the ones that the guilds are currently using with the colors right now. But really specifically what I'm talking about is Temple of Mystery. There's a promo foil for this one. Right now it's sitting at like $150, $175. The regulars are about the same price as that, and this is used in 18,000 EDH decks. One thing with these lands is they're not going to be reprinted, especially for foil. They're going to be reprinted for standard anytime soon because we now have shocks, and we will have more shocks next set. Yeah, and we have the gates. There's too many multicolored lands that are in this. And then you had mentioned, what other one is in there?
Well, you have the core set lands and the Innistrad lands that are also working with the shock lands. So I think they're not going to be reprinting these anytime soon for standard.
Plus, I actually like this promo art compared to the other. Really it's cool. Completely different. It's the only one that they did a secondary foil, a promo foil for.
But yeah, I try and put temples in my decks.
Almost
they
every
work
deck,
really nice. They're well worth it. Like if you're sitting around and playing with like comes into play tap, gain 1 life and stuff like that, these are just better.
Yeah, definitely.
These are just outright better.
You should be replacing any of those that you have going in with getting 1 life. And like I said, if you specifically want to target the ones that are the guilds that are currently in return.
So green, black, red, blue, black, blue, green, white, and red, white.
And going for the foils of those, some of those are a little more expensive. I think some of the foils are reaching $5 to $7 because it depends on if it's used a lot or whatever already. If it's the older ones, whatever. They're typically around 3 to 7, but they've been rising. Not like crazy. They just been on the rise, and you use them in every EDH deck. And like I said, this was 18,000. The lowest I saw for all the colors was 13,000. So they're used in a lot of EDH decks.
Yeah. So no, they're solid.
That's my first one, Larry.
So I'm going with a listener, somebody who contributes often.
Yeah, Mr. Dave again.
Yeah. So Price of Glory, he suggested this in foil, sitting around $15 right now. Thought it's a solid card for EDH. I love playing this card because it pisses people off.
I for some reason have this already in foil, and I don't even know when I bought it.
Not a bad guess.
You were talking about. I'm like, I have that, like 4 copies of it in foil for some reason.
But what it does is whenever a player taps a land not on their turn, they got to sacrifice that land. It's crazy good in Commander. Yeah. So it stops those control decks.
Yep, exactly. And I think that's probably why I got it.
He was saying that they're low supply on TCG for foil. And it's a really good card. So good call.
Yeah. I'm going with. So we had talked about. I think I had mentioned it last week or the week before about Battle Bond lands. Battle Bond, and Larry had said it I think about a month or 2 months ago about some of the Battle Bond stuff. But now is probably the time to go after any of the Battle Bond cards that you want that are used in EDH a lot. Specifically, I'm saying going for Greater Good right now, the foil copies. The foil copies of those are around 13, but if you look at the regular of the original, not original, but when they were printed in Urza's is at 10. You're looking at 9th edition at 11, but you go to the foils, there's $30 and $40. They're well below.
Urza's Saga, there's no foil of that.
No. Okay. But I'm talking about
regulars. Yeah.
The promo Judge foil is
at
$32, and then your 9th edition is $41. So there's really one specific printing, and then you have a promo Judge foil that was printed in there at $32. And this is sitting around your regular price right now of the $13.
Yeah, I can see this getting up to like 25 easy.
Yeah, and this is with what we're talking about with this set. I mean, this is sacrificing, discarding cards into your graveyard. So if you're actually going with Ravnica stuff where it's putting stuff into your graveyard, this is actually a good fit in there as well.
It's an enabler for Undergrowth.
Yeah.
So,
and in itself, it's in 7,500 decks for EDH Rec. So, that's in a lot of decks.
Free sacrifice outlets are always really good to have. So.
Yep. Larry, your next one. I hate this card when you use it.
It's Oona's Prowler. It's a 3/1 flyer for a colorless and a black. Any player can discard a card to give it -2/-0. So this is just looking at like another enabler for Undergrowth here. The foil's sitting around $8, and it's been slowly rising for a long time. but you're talking $1 in the last like 4 years. So it's stable. I kind of like applying what we have said in the past. I saw Seth on Goldfish was playing it in a certain deck as well,
and that can make it spike just by him playing.
Just by him doing it. If it did well, I can't quite remember, but the card
you've played this in a modern deck that that's why I hate it
back in the day. Like it. How I generally use it is like I want to have it be aggressively costed, but also if they want to discard, they're also going to be punished in a different way. And I have this card in my cube, I believe. Yeah. So it enables a lot of graveyard strategies because it's just a free discard outlet for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it. So I don't like it, but I like it.
Either of them, like foil or non-foil.
Non-foil. It's only the one printing.
There's no reprints.
Yeah.
So
you can get probably the non-foils around $250-ish.
Yeah, $250.
Yeah. All right. Next one, same thing. Battle Bond again, but actually instead of foil this time, we're just going to do regular Seedborn Muse. If you want Seedborn Muse, you should pick it up. If you play green, this is perfect to put in pretty much every green deck because it untaps all your permanents that you control during each other player's untapped step. This thing is just a nuts card, and right now you can probably get it around $650. $650?
I don't know which one it was.
$650.
$650 sounds like a great deal.
Yeah. So I mean, $6 for Seedborn. When before they printed, they were up around $25. Right now, you can get the 10th edition, 9th edition. Those are 14. The reason I'm saying kind of stay away from the foils, the foils are already at 22. I mean, you could still get that because if you compare it to the others, they're over 40. Ooh, the cheapest is 45. So I guess that's potentially a good buy-in as well. But if you're just wanting a copy for yourself, and I'm not sure if Lowry picked this before. I don't remember when you were doing your Battle Bond picks before.
Yeah, I don't know either. So, it's still a good time to reiterate. Like we're beyond that point. Like we've had Commander come out. You're getting the Ravnica hype. Battle Bond's long forgotten.
Yeah. And
this is a time when you start going back and start picking it up.
And Battle Bond is kind of following the same path as conspiracy stuff, where it wasn't open to crap tons, so there's not going to be a whole ton of inventory out there. So as we get further away, these are going to be going up. All the there's some other cards in there that I have on my list that we'll save for another week, but some of the new stuff that they printed in there, be ready to pick those up. I mean, pick them up now if you can, because all that stuff's going to start going up here.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, last pick of the week.
So this one, I will admit, is probably a stretch. So going with Scarblade Elite, it's 2 black for a 2/2. You can tap it, remove an assassin card from your graveyard, or exile it and destroy target creature. I was just kind of starting to look for like assassin specific cards because you got that black blue. I don't even remember what it's called anymore. It's like Atrata. Yeah, there we go. The assassin, the 3/5, when it deals damage, destroy the creature, put a hit counter on it.
Yeah.
So, like, even if somebody goes and kills it and you have Scarblade Elite in play, you can let that go to the graveyard, tap, remove it from the game, which put it in your command zone, and then destroy a creature. Depends, like, this is just the first assassin legend. I don't know. I don't even know if there's enough assassins to make it kind of tribal-ish.
Yeah.
So it might not be worth it. Again,
hard part is that I wish that the commander had something to do with the like had a little more triggers. But I mean, this is super cheap from Morningtide.
The foils
probably get for $1 or under.
$1, so and then the regulars are under 50 cents or whatever. So this is a cheap one. Again, it's a potential stretch, but it has potential.
But it's you spend $5 and buy 5 of them, and who knows, maybe it actually does work out. And
you can turn around and flip 4 of them.
Yeah,
and if they go,
maybe they make more assassins in both sets, like or 3 sets or whatever. So no, I don't mind this one at all, and it's from Morningtide too. So I mean that's a while back, and it stayed pretty consistent. But for $1, it's
So
we did that recently too with one in some cards that are banned in Commander, where just even the potential of them being unbanned, but they're so cheap for the foils. Sure, sometimes it's good to just drop $20 and buy a few of those just in case, because if this card gets unbanned, then they're going to go up to like $15-20 again.
Sure, yeah, easy.
So, I mean, it's a low risk, potential high reward with this card because you're not really putting much into it.
Just depends on if assassins can be a thing or if you have enough density in it. Because really, the ninjas all spiked, and there's only like, 12 of them, 14 or whatever?
No, there's less than that. I think there's only 10. And
that was enough to have them all go. Not sure if Atrada is powerful enough to be assassin built like, but again, getting value out of her when you're building around her specifically probably isn't a bad thing.
Yeah. Not a bad idea. All right, well, that should do it for this week. I think we got to wrap up quick because we are really long with everything. Yeah, it's always the same time. Always the same time. All right, well, you can follow us on Twitter at CommanderSmiths. And like I said, if we're going to be late on it on the episodes and stuff, that's where we'll update at first. So if you're wondering, you might as well follow us there because then you're going to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Do it. Email. You want to do the email?
All right, CommanderSmiths@gmail.com.
And YouTube. CommanderSmiths.
At YouTube.com.
Yep. That place.
Is that how that works?
That is how that works.
Is it?
All right. So what do we got on the docket for next week? I
believe there's going to be more spoilers.
Yep. So more spoilers again. We might add in a different topic in there as well. And then, we have some cool stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Do we?
Yeah, we're gonna go over the sets that are rotating out.
Oh yeah,
and we're gonna kind of go over which cards.
We'll do rotation specs.
Yep. So we're gonna pick out. There's a lot. There's a lot of good cards.
Aether Revolt, Amonkhet, Hour of Devastation. Each episode, we'll have we'll specifically just kind of focus in on. I probably start off with Kaladesh
and work our way. Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool cards. You're going to have a lot of cards dropping, and now's the great time to be looking at stuff.
Perfect time. And then we will also probably be getting CCC Red coming. Core cards for Commander Red coming.
So we actually have to plan ahead because I am leaving.
He's going to be gone
Germany.
for 2 weeks.
So we're going to try and have a mashup of stuff semi-ready.
Yeah.
We'll try and have some Commander Spotlight ready for that period of time. We
need a couple more better commanders.
I think we're running out of cards here.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh shit, what are we gonna build here?
I'm leaning Niv Mizzet right now.
Oh man, that'd be tough.
It would be.
I might do the Vampire Assassin.
Atrada.
Yeah, might be an interesting
Could
build.
be just very similar to Eureka.
Yeah, I know it would. It's the same colors.
Yeah, unblockable
Cheater.
is what you're going for.
Exactly.
Whatever you want.
Well, no, I don't have to get the stuff to make her unblockable because she's already unblockable.
Yeah.
I just need to get her pump her out quick. That was one thing
that kind of piqued my interest was that it said it can't be blocked. Is that how it's worded now instead of unblockable?
Huh. They wanted to make it really long
Oh.
instead of just one word, unblockable.
Maybe unblockable didn't make sense to people?
Cannot be blocked by creatures that other people control during their turn. No, I was just trying to make it as long as possible.
I started thinking about everything that you're saying. Like, this is dumb.
What is he talking about? They shouldn't do that at all. All right. Well, that should do it for this week. We will see you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.